I've never seen a diamond in the flesh. I cut my teeth on wedding rings.
Dude, that's pretty cool.
Man, that is a,
I'm just
that is a
sad
sad
clown.
clown.
Dude, that's pretty good.
This is The Gloom, bringing you weekly interviews with F3 Omaha packs, exploring their F3 experiences and finding those sticky elements that create the glue in the gloom.
This is the Plague. We got Pony Express, and then Reba, who is F3 Omaha Redwood, also is the infamous creator of a jackrabbit exercise that the previous podcast, Honey Stinger and others have been wondering, what is that thing called and how do we recreate it? But also, Reba, I know you as a man of really strong faith, so I'm just I'm excited just to get to talk with you and hear your story. So with our Redwoods, we'd like to open it up and just hear your kind of impressions of that first day. Who brought you out? What was that like on the first day? And then you were also one of the only packs, I think, to maintain a female nickname. So I think that we got to hear that story. How did that come about? So go ahead, tell us about that.
Okay, well, me and Specimen and Coach K all worked together in the past. And while we're sitting, and Specimen is a strong believer as well, and during work every now and then we'd share the good news every now and then. And his wife worked at UNMC, and his wife sort of EH'd him, I think, because she was speaking with Chad or wait time, and then all of a sudden Specimen started hearing about it and was like, gosh, I need to check this out, and was going to like the pre-events where they would meet at a bar or whatever and talk about what's going on. So then he would sort of relay the info to me, and I'm like, I started searching online about it, and I'm like, gosh, this is weird. Like, this is weird stuff. But like, I think it might be something I need in my life. I don't know. I'm going to try it out once and see what happens. So go to the very first workout, and I'm horrible with names. I'm horrible with remembering things. I think it's CTE from a lot of head injuries. But one of the packs from, where was it, the Carolinas or whatever, that was there helping out, getting wait time to launch this, and was there as well. And we're doing the workout, and at that time I was just balls to the wall and trying my hard to, I guess, I don't know if I was trying to impress people or what, but there's always that, with men, there's always a little bit of competition where you want to sort of show off every now and then. And I was crushing it, and the Pax, which I can't remember his name, who came from the Carolinas, says, hey, what's your name? What's your story? He's like, you are crushing it. Like, you're just pumping my head. Like, my head was exploding with the size. Like, just giving me all these compliments. He goes, so just back home, like, you get a big guy who's crushing the workouts and everything. We give him a woman's name, so don't be offended. I'm like, I'm not going to be offended with anything, you know. But throughout the workout, there was a lot of, we just sort of went all around the Boys Town campus, like doing, like, one of my favorite exercises, because I'm good at it, is like balls to the wall. Like, I love shoulder exercises. I'm pretty good at those. But throughout the exercise, going through everywhere. I'm like, what in the world is this? Why do we have to call all these push-ups Merkins? Like, I don't get it. Like, what is going on? I'm a guy who likes to, I've always been addicted to exercise. Like, since a little kid, I've loved working out. So I've always loved lifting heavy things and setting them down. That's what I like to do. Even my father made me my first like lap pull down machine and put like a cable machine and put it in the basement. So like when I was in 5th or 6th grade, because I was just always talking about exercise with him. So yeah, that's my whole point, was like, what is going on around here? Why is there so many weird exercises? Why is there so many weird names? And I'm just not sure about this. But then after it, like during the workout, I'm finding myself having a little chatters with people around me and getting to know people a little bit. I mean, getting to know is sort of relative, but as men, getting to know people is just like sitting next to them. So, but doing that, and then we're sharing laughs, laughing at each other, doing these silly exercises and stuff like that. After the workout, I'm like, you know what? I do need that in my life. It's good to laugh at yourself. It's good to run alongside another man and share in that gloom, you know.
That's awesome. So was Reba? So Reba's not because you're a big country fan, is it? Or
no,
where did the name Reba come from?
Well, they are, at least one person in that group already had it in mind that they were going to give me a woman's name. That was said to me while we were working out. So, what I get into the middle, and I say, my name's David Coe. I didn't even get very far. My name's David Coe, like David Allan Coe, the country singer. And then all of a sudden, Reba, and there it was. So fancy is my name.
Nice. Oh, I love it. And you've even got a shirt that says Reba on it, which I love.
Yeah, my wife bought me that. Yep.
That's awesome.
Found it on like a thrift store Amazon site or something.
I love that. So one of the things that I'm curious about, because we've interviewed several guys, and the topic has come up a couple times on, you know, like, just because you can't come to every workout doesn't mean you're not a part of the group. And you've done a really good job of still maintaining that connection, right? You come out whenever you can. You're still, you know, you came out to the Convergence for the anniversary, but really you've been able to adjust things and at the same time prioritize your wife and your family and that sort of stuff. So curious, just as you're looking back, you know, what are some of the things that you remember being impactful, or, you know, anything that you would highlight from your journey with F3? I'm thinking of your cue. At some point, I want you to remind us what that one exercise is, because we can't seem to remember it and we all want to recreate it. But I don't know, talk me through some of your memories throughout the last few years.
I would say, yeah, I've cued twice. I'm always thinking in my head, I should do more. And that's just a part of me. And another part of me is I'm hard. It's hard for me to like take that step without somebody saying, okay, do it, you know? So I would say the things that are impactful, my first cue was, I thought it went off good. I put a lot of thought into it, and I wish I could. I think I probably still have it saved on my work computer here somewhere. But it was just a sort of a workout that I did at the gym I belonged to when I was working at Streck. But I took that and just made it into a body weight type workout, and it was fun. Like a lot of I I made a point to highlight picking up the 6. So once you finish, you went and you helped other people and could like take some of their reps from them if you wanted, you know. And then taught at the end on the COT, I talked about the statue at Boys Town and he's not heavy, he's my brother, saying that came from that. So that was great. And anytime I get to just meet somebody while working out, the relationships you form, and like I said before, like with women, they have to have a conversation. They have to, that's how they form friendships. Men, they form friendships by just being shoulder to shoulder doing something. And then I guess another thing that pops out is actually one of your COT's plague. It was pretty early on, and you were talking about being vulnerable, and because everybody was still sort of figuring everything out at that time, and we weren't being very vulnerable with each other, but you pretty much made it okay to do that. You talked about addictions and listed off a whole bunch of different addictions that people could have, and if you have them, just speak up. Like people have dealt with that here. Like, you don't know unless you talk about it. And that's what's crazy is like that's so true, because and I just learned about it lately at work. We started this 4-H's thing with our team. It was brought from the Cleveland Browns, basically, and it's heroes or history, heroes, heartbreak, hope. And we just tell our story with that. And the things that come up during heartbreak, it's like, wow. And oh my gosh, I dealt with that, and I haven't told anybody before in my life, you know. So it makes it more free to share and get them off your chest, you know.
Yeah, I love that. And obviously you know where I'm coming from. It's not really me, right? It's God that kind of gives us the strength to do that. But it kind of when I look at sad clown syndrome, I think the thing that keeps guys there is keeping that like hidden piece of themselves, right? If you keep something hidden, then we don't really know who you are, and you never get to feel fully accepted for who that is. And so it's just the more you can kind of peel back the layers of the onion, and it doesn't have to like start with sharing your deepest, darkest secret, but just getting pieces of yourself out there and realizing that the men in the circle and ultimately the community that you're surrounded by, we actually aren't looking to judge you, and we accept you for those pieces of yourself. So I love that.
I think sorry to interrupt, but I think you kind of hit it on the head too, Reba. Like, there's something about the workouts themselves where it kind of cuts through the BS. Like I said, like, guys come in with some machismo. Like, I come in, play comes in, Bubbles comes in, whoever thinks they're too cool for school. But you're not cool when you're getting smoked, you know. It just kind of cuts through all that with the workout. You know, you get smoked at the workout, then everyone's like, man, we're all on the same playing field here. I'm just as gassed as this guy. You know, there's maybe not a lot of mumble chatter like you're saying going on. It's just being in the gloom with each other, just going through that, you know, and that really can build and forge some relationships. It's interesting. For sure.
I found myself like not going. I used to go just to like get a great workout in, and then sort of build my ego as well with people saying, "Wow, look at you," you know. But then it turned into, no, I'm just going to hang out with the guys. Like I don't even, when I go out now, like I don't care. I just want to. I'll sit back with the last person going, or the 6, and or just find somebody I haven't talked to with a while and jog next to them, whatever. Like I'm just out there having fun now. Like, it's not and getting a little bit of a workout in too, you know.
So you had mentioned Reba, and clearly not to puff up your ego, but your physique. I mean, you have the first F figured out, right? I mean, your T-shirt right now is like needs some more room. No, I'm just kidding, just giving you a hard time. But so talk me through like the three Fs, right? Fitness, fellowship, and faith. And you've said it a couple times, but like, where do you feel like you're at, and maybe which of those have you found F3 helping with the most, or do you feel like that's been a growing journey for you, or where are you at today?
Yeah. So, like I said before, fitness has always been a part of my life, and something I've always, and I think thinking back on it, I think it's because my dad has a huge beer belly. Has always had a huge beer belly, and I've never wanted to be like that. I've wanted to be able to play around with my kids and enjoy my family, where he wasn't really able to. But so it's helped me in my fitness because, like I said, I don't like running. I don't like cardio. So this helps that. The fellowship, it's helped a ton. Mainly because, like, when you get married, you have your friends. Like I have my college friends, and I have my high school friends that I talk to here and there. We have a message group that we message each other here and there. But it's not like, I don't know. It's not like we're close, but we're not as close as I would say being next to somebody at going through the gloom, I can still share things with them. But I don't know, for whatever reason, I think it's just the whole setup with F3. It's a lot easier to share things with people and work through things with people. So the fellowship part it's another place that I'm growing. That's a place where I want to grow even more. Mainly because I don't think I've given enough to F3 with that. Like usually get done with the workout, I have to rush home to shuttle kids to gymnastics or make it home in time for my wife to go to the gym. She loves fitness too. So I don't want to be selfish and take things away from her. If she needs to do what she needs to do as well. So I need to do a better job of just checking Slack too. Like if I check the Slack, I'll usually check it and I'm like, oh, they got together. Oh, that was last night. Okay. Well, maybe next time, so that's a spot where I want to try to grow more, and get to know more people. Cause I know a lot of people, but I don't really know them, and then the faith component, that I was relieved in knowing that there was something coming to Omaha that integrated faith into this for men, even if they're not strong believers. Throughout, you'll realize that there is something bigger out there that is playing the puppet master, so faith, I'm pretty good at that, but we're all sinners, and it's something that we all work on every day. I want to start volunteering more too. That's another thing that it's like I get on Slack and I see, oh, they're doing this there, and that was a week or two ago. Like I just need to check it more often, or get a shield lock together, which just taking the time to do it. That's the thing with me. It's just making time and just doing it.
Yeah. Something that I think is really, it's interesting because when you read Free to Lead, they talk about the third 500, which is kind of like later stage in a guy's life. And so and for me, the way it's worked out is with having a younger child, there is more of a need for me to be present at home. Right. And so some of the other things, there's like a pull internally to like be involved and engage in those things. But ultimately, you're making the right decision by prioritizing your family and your wife and your kids first. So it's just, just knowing that you have that desire, but the right thing to do is just focus on the people in proximity to you, and while that's the greater need. But talk me through, I think one of the things that you have been able to do is just stay connected with your church and just, continuing to grow your faith. Are there things that you feel like, maybe it's like accountability, or maybe it's just seeing things from other people's perspectives. But as you've been just kind of watching guys grow in F3, what have you had a chance to do Q source or read free to lead, or is it just really the ability to connect that you feel like has been helpful and kind of continuing to push in and keep you coming back?
I would say just I have read free to lead. Which Pony Express still can't say probably.
I'm in the middle of it. Okay, you're like the seventh person that said something, and I have 30 pages to go, and then I'm done.
But the thing is, with me, Pony Express will remember it though. Like myself, I'm the type of person that has to read it 3 times to like finally get it in my head. Like I can talk about things that they talk about in there, but I can't remember what it's called or anything like that. But so that was good. I would say mostly it's just the helping hands from everybody. Like it wasn't too long after we started that Specimen and I lost our jobs. And everybody's like, hey, what can I do? What do you want to do next? If there's anything I can do, and constantly checking in and seeing how you're doing. That has grown, or that was a welcome sight, and any problem that anyone else is having. So many people reached out to me while I was going through that like I feel a duty if I hear of something going on with somebody's family, whatever, to at least reach out and check out on them and see if there's anything I can do, even if it is just a voice on the other hand or an ear on the other end. Sometimes people just need to call and gripe about something. That's what, like, I work with nurses every day, and they travel around. They're alone at a place for 13 weeks. They don't know anyone. I always tell them, like, just call me and complain to me, or if it's something in your life or whatever, just get it out, and I'll be here to listen. And I think a part of that comes from F3 too. Like F3 has made me grow in my personal life and my work life in order to do those things and be more open with people.
I love that, man. Especially because when you're reaching out outside of F3, I guess I would say sometimes I can come off very superficial. Do you really care that much about your colleagues? Like, hey, how are you doing? Oh, great. I'm sorry that's happening to you or whatever. But when it's coming from F3, at least what I experienced, it seems so genuine. And you really have a group of guys that are really, how are you? Is there anything I can do for you? And then I love what you said after that. Like, once I saw that at F3, then it bled over into my real life. Then I was able to treat my colleagues and my peers with the type of respect and graciousness that I'm receiving on the other end from F3. So I love that.
What, as you were going through that, so you mentioned kind of the loss of a job, and I want to touch on this a little bit because so May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and something that I was reminded of is like loss of job is a a lot of men identify with their job. And that can be just a source of anxiety, depression, you name it. And so what was that like? I mean, was it, did you tell the guys at F3 and then they was that support helpful in like helping you move through that? It sounds like it was, but tell me a little bit more about that. I'm just curious your perspective.
Brought it up at a beat down, and then like, so it happens. Day happens where there's a meeting in the calendar to meet at this room at this time. And like, I had some other colleagues come up to me and they're like, what's this about? I go, oh, it's nothing. They probably just want our input on things. And they come in and said, okay, we're cutting the work or we're cutting all of you. And then I almost went into a rage in that meeting. I held it back and just started asking questions like, I don't understand. Like, these are my metrics. You said you went on metrics, but it was just a cost cutting measure, and that's totally fine. Like, the crazy thing is I had been wanting to leave that place for 2 or 3 years before, but I got into that comfort level, and you're comfortable, you're making a good living wage, and whatever happens. But always looking to do something else. And I took it as, after feeling sorry for myself for a little bit, I took it as a way of God just making the decision for me and saying, hey, you have 3 months. I think our severance was like 3 months. So you have 3 months to figure out what your next step is. So there you go. And a lot of people don't get that. I brought it up at a beatdown then, and then it was just constant. People just reaching out, seeing like how the job search is going, how I'm doing as a person, and how the family's doing with it, and just knowing that you had people to go to and people that had went through it before, that sort of like what we talked about before. There's people that I felt like, in my head, I felt like a loser. Like, I came home, told my family, and was crying my eyes out saying, I'm a loser, I'm disappointing the family, and they're like, Dave, you just need it. No, that's not it at all. We're going to do what we need to do. But so, yeah, that's sort of the way it went down.
What, I mean, if somebody else was going through that, I mean, it sounds like in your experience, sharing that with other guys was helpful. I don't know if there's any other advice you would give, and I don't mean too much. It's just a really good example of how having that support system can help you work through it instead of beat yourself up about it.
Yeah, you have to talk about it, and you have to, and you also have to. I think you have to take time to grieve a little bit. Even though it was a place I wanted to leave, it was still like, I wanted to leave on my own terms. I wanted to make that, and that's something all of us fight every day too. Is doing things on my time, on the way I want, and hell bent on that, and nothing else can change your mind. So it's grieving a little bit, and then just getting those out. Like, don't keep it inside, but talk about these things. Another thing F3 showed too is, like, when my father had cancer, everybody stepped up about that too, and was always asking, and always, it's just the point of people hearing, receiving what's going on with whomever, and then reaching out and being genuine about it. not everybody has to, and not everybody does, and that's fine. But the few that do, it means the world to you.
For sure. Hey, I wanted to ask, just as I think there's a kind of a group of guys, and I don't want to generalize people, but that show up to a workout and then maybe it doesn't work with their schedule, and so they kind of get distant, and then they never come back, or maybe the guy that gets injured, or so it's like, they're for one reason or another, they spend some time apart, and then it's hard for them to come back and like re-engage. But you've been able to maintain pretty consistent. You come when you can, and you still come and you're able to share and be a part of. And what's sort of been your secret there? Or maybe it is that you have found support when you've shared, you've been supported. I don't know, but what's kept you feeling engaged over time, even without being able to come every single day? Because I think we have some guys in that group that just decide to not be a part of it.
I think you hit it on the head right there. It's everything that is, like, I have shared, and I've seen what this little F3 thing can do. Like, if I don't go, it affects me during the week. Like I notice a difference when I do go. I would say what keeps me going back and being able to, like, if I don't make it 2 weeks or so in a row and still come back, I think it's just that I know the good of this group, and I don't want it to see it drop off or anything, so it's like, I'm always going to come back when I can, and maybe I'll meet somebody new that day. Like, I always, every day I start the day at work, and I'm like, I'm going to try to meet somebody new today. Like, it's sort of a good thing to keep in your head, to actually listen to people, instead of, like, if you're meeting somebody taking the dog for a walk or something, and somebody says, "How are you?" Like, maybe not go in your deep secrets or anything, but say something other than "Doing good, how are you?" and then just keep walking by. Some people are cool with that, and that's fine. But, like, if you share a little bit more, who knows? Maybe somebody will stop, and you'll have a conversation, and you'll meet somebody new.
That's awesome. So I think one of the other questions. So, will you tell us what is the name of that exercise? It was like the jackrabbit, or what was that?
It was a killer rabbit.
Okay.
I believe that's what you were talking about. And it's basically, it would be a combo of almost a Bobby Hurley into, like, a tuck jump, but you're putting your arms in between your legs as you're jumping up.
Okay.
And yeah. And then another one that is sort of a crowd pleaser for Mary is like the wobbling bananas, which is a hollow rock is what they call them in the regular exercise term, but it's a hollow hold, and you just rock back and forth like a banana.
Okay. Love it. Those we'll be seeing more of those, because I remember the killer rabbit was those were tough. And was there a spin involved? Do you spin at some point, or
nope. No, I think it has. I think people have taken it and sort of evolved it into other things too. Like, it wasn't long after I posted the back blast for that someone from some other packs out there was like, "Killer rabbits, what is that?" And then all of a sudden I see things called murder bunnies popping up. Yeah. And I'm like, "Hey, what's going on here?"
Yeah. Have you done the murder bunnies? Those are with a cinder block.
Yep.
Yeah. those are tough. What trying to think through, just other things that you might be on your heart or your mind to share with the packs. I know, Pony's got a couple of questions for you as far as your least favorite exercise and that sort of thing. But anything else, just as a Redwood, or just kind of insight you would want?
I would say just keep coming back, like that. Give it a shot. Like when you first show up, it could be. I'm sorry, I got a phone call, but I'm going to put do not disturb on this. There we go. I think we're set now. Sorry. I would say to keep coming back and just when you first get there, you're going to realize that there's a lot of weird things going on, but like be lighthearted about that's the main thing for me is like we don't laugh at ourselves very much, and that has helped me a ton. Like I never used to do that, and just going to F3 and being able to do that, it has been a life changer for me. Just being light about things and not being so serious, and talk and listen to the different PAX members, and you're going to find people that are a lot like you. It takes a certain person to go and do that anyway, so you already have something in common.
You did touch briefly, like when you keep coming back, there's I think when people come, you can be intimidated because everyone, I remember my first one, I thought everyone was like best friends. It was so weird. I was like, who are these guys? How do they all know each other so well? And I'm next to a guy, I can't remember his name. I don't think he posts very much anymore. Dufresne, I think was his name. And he's like, yeah, man, he was talking to everybody, having a good time. And he's like, yeah, it's my second week. I'm like, what is going on here? There's definitely some magic there. So I just want to echo what you're saying. Just keep coming back. I think it can be intimidating at first, but just keep coming back.
Sure. Yeah. I get intimidated on this. I get intimidated just like you, Pony Express. And the only reason I brought up the free delete is because I listened to the other podcast. I don't know any of the stuff either, even though I read it.
Yeah, well, good. No, I'm glad there's more like me out there. And glad to know that we've got a listener amongst us of what the PAC's least favorite exercise is and why. And so I guess that's kind of my question to you.
It'd probably have to be some sort of leg exercise because sometimes my knees just aren't raring to go. Monkey humpers are easy.
There's a sexy factor to monkey humpers, though. I think people don't give it enough credit.
Yeah. I would say it might be like some variation of a squat, like any of the squats. Like I don't like any of them. I'm usually sore from the week from doing. Like I think I do like leg days twice a week. So like I'm usually sore and I don't want to do any more legs. So that would probably be my any type of squat variation.
I feel like that's a good practical answer. Probably the only practical response we've ever had in that. My knees are not as good, so it just doesn't make sense for me. A lot of people are just like, I hate it. It's stupid. It doesn't feel good. It's painful for me, and it's just because I think they're mentally weak. Is all it is. So.
And then those other ones like I noticed at the Convergence where there was I'm like, what the hell is this exercise? I've never done it before. And it's just like all sorts of different movements in one and takes a lot of coordination. And no.
I hear you, man. I hear you. Well, kind of another question here that is asked of most of the guests. You kind of touched on it briefly. You keep coming back to some of the new guys. Do you have any other advice that you'd give an F&G?
F&G, I would say to just lean in to don't have preconceived notions or whatever. Like if somebody's coming up and talking to you while you're working out and you're there for the first time, it's not ungenuine. I don't even know if that's a word, but it is genuine. Like they're reaching out because they're curious about you, about what your story is, and how you fit, and just keep coming back. Like it's so simple, but like there is something, and I've been trying to put my finger on it of what the glue is to the gloom. But I think it is different for everyone. And I can't quite put my finger on why I love it, but I think it's a combination of all the people or all the men, and knowing that like as you grow older, your friends circle seriously shrinks. It's like I think Plague even responded on a tweet. Like I was listening to a podcast, and they said one of Jesus's best miracles, or her most astonishing miracles, was that he was mid-age and had 12 good friends. Like that's what this can do. This could help grow your circle too, for anything that you're looking to do. Like if it's jobs, if it's networking, anything.
I love that, man. I think it's funny. Somebody the other day had mentioned that they had kept waiting for like the moment we were going to try to sell them something, right? It's like all these people are being nice, and so at some point, like there's going to be like and now you have to subscribe, but it's just not the case.
Take a drink of this glass of Kool-Aid.
Yeah. It's awesome. Well, we'll wrap it up here with Namerama. So Braden Flehardy, 35, The Plague.
John Woodworth, 29, Pony Express.
Hey,
David Coe, 40, Reba.
Thank you, Reba, man. Appreciate you.
Hey, it was great. I like what you guys are doing.